Welcome to Peter and Ruffy's Football Show here on STV. The main talking points on tonight's programme. Ian Cathro is the favourite to take over as the new manager of Hearts as Robbie Neilson gets set to say farewell to the fans tonight at Tynecastle. Can Rangers continue on their winning ways in that big match in the capital? And could Liverpool tempt Celtic with a big offer for Moussa Dembele in the January transfer window? Just a few of the topics we'll be discussing tonight. Alan Ruff is alongside me, Peter Martin. I'm delighted to say Falkirk striker Lee Miller is our bootroom guest. Really looking forward to talking about the Bairns as well. And of course, as you can see by the beard and of course the passage of time, Lee's getting ready for coaching as well, Ruffy. You can always tell there's just that edge where they move into it, where they're still scoring goals but they're thinking long term now, Ruffy. If only you'd done that.
No. I think that's the way ahead. I think all the players now, modern day, see it as a new career, and a lot of them are moving into it, and all the best if you do.
Yeah, absolutely. You're enjoying it, taking the under-20s?
I do, yeah. I work alongside Alan Mabry, just basically learning off him what he's got to say to the players when he says it, and different formations, change of formations in a split second in a match and things like that. And I really enjoy it, and the young lads have taken well to me.
Yeah, and over and above that, do you ever hear, that cock crow 3 times when you actually think, I used to look and coaches and think, and then you're saying the exact same thing as the coaches now?
Yeah, I do actually. I enjoy the coaching of the younger kids as well. I've took my son's school all the years, like primary 1 right up to primary 7 as well. I do enjoy that, having a young family myself. I think I understand the kids and how they kind of learn and the different learning aspects and stuff, but I do hear myself sometimes. I think I've actually said that. But no, it's great to pass on my knowledge. I've been in the game long enough to know what it takes to become a footballer, and what the kind of the things that are thrown in front of you, your obstacles to overcome. And I think we've got a good crop of young lads at Falkirk just now.
Yeah, and your old teammate is one such coach who's getting a move. Robbie Neilson looks as if he's going to say farewell to Hearts and head off to MK Dons. What did you make of him?
He was a great professional. Likes Stephen Presley, Paul Hartley, Neil McFarlane, Robbie Neilson, they all fit into the same mould. They were destined to be coaches. You could see them asking questions. They were just, I would bounce things off and I think, I didn't realise you would know that. Paul Hartley was the same. I used to travel in with him. He used to tell me different players he'd seen down south, and the knowledge of the game, and always want to learn as well. And he had a long throw as well, which I can always remember Robbie's long throw. But apart from that, he was a good player. He was a very good player. A solid right back, and he was a big part of our team at the time.
Yeah, and I think, Ruffy, apart from, I'm amazed there have been some fans grumbling about him over the course of the last couple of seasons, but I think he leaves Hearts in good nick.
No, I think that's a mark of how well he's done. We all know what fans are like, the expectation, and I think he's taken Hearts to a level that a lot of fans want more, but I think he's really in the two and a half years he's been there, taking them to somewhere that nobody thought they would be. I mean, we were all questioning what they were going to be like when they came out of the division, but ever since then, they just went up and up and up, and I'm sure the Hearts fans would, if he was there another couple of years, where would they be?
I mean, it gives you an indication of how far they've come. I think Hearts fans are going to Tynecastle tonight thinking this should be a win in their mind.
Yeah, I think so, and I think the Hearts players want to send Robbie off on a high. Obviously, Rangers have picked up a few results last minute, last throw of dice in games, and I think Hearts can capitalise on that, and they will definitely want to see Robbie off on a high. And it's one of those things a new manager could be watching. You're playing for your future. There'll be a few players at Hearts thinking, you know what, new manager coming in, maybe my chance to step up here.
Yeah, Ian Cathro is a name that I think has emerged over the last 4 or 5 years consistently. A young man, Ruffy, that has made a name for himself as far as coaching in the background, and now suddenly he could land himself one of the biggest jobs in the country.
Yeah, well, I think that seems to be the road that Hearts want to go down. Obviously, you know, it seems to be a coach rather than a manager, because obviously they've got Craig Levein there. They just want somebody day to day, somebody that can handle the players, somebody who's very, very well organised. As you said, he's been abroad at top clubs abroad. He's been down south, so that seems to be the fit, you know, of the next manager.
Yeah, the biggest hurdle for me sometimes with players, Lee, and you might be able to give us an insight into it. He's still a young man, I think 30 years of age. I just wonder, I said it's one of the biggest jobs, obviously, with Celtic and Rangers. You know, I view Hearts, Aberdeen, that type of category of club as a really big job. I just wonder if, you know, sometimes players might look, that's a huge leap to look at a 30-year-old there. But if his coaching's good, do you respond? Do you change your mindset?
No, I know exactly what you're saying, but I think if he's a good enough coach, if he gets his point across and he's demanding, he needs to be a presence in front of the players need to respect him and he needs to earn respect, first and foremost. I don't think that'll change, I don't think that'll be a problem to players or professional players. They're there to do a job at the end of the day, but it should be interesting. It will be interesting to see how he comes in and how the players react to him, but they have got a good squad there. They've been playing together now for a good few years, most of them, nucleus. But it'll be interesting over the next few weeks.
Yeah, tonight's opponents, Rangers. Ruffy, this for me is what I call the marker. The next 3 games give us a clear insight into the mettle of the side. I've got a lot of time for Lee Wallace. I like him. I think he speaks well. He's very positive and very focused about what Rangers have to do to try and get back to what he believes is the top of the Scottish game. They have to do it against the likes of a Hearts, against Aberdeen, against Hearts again. Big test.
Yeah, if you listen to Warburton, he's annoyed with all the criticism, you know, and people having a wee say at his club, and I think that'll be festering down to the players as well. I think we'll see a Rangers players coming out here tonight, you know, want to prove everybody wrong, and we saw what happens when the Old Firm do that. Sometimes it works in their favour, but if you're going by the last 2 games, obviously Hearts are the favourites for this one, so it just remains to be seen, you know, if Rangers can come up with the goods.
Yeah, well, we got a little touchy yesterday, the criticism that's been labelled at Joe Garner. You know, and he tried to throw up, obviously, the comparisons with Andre Gray. I think that was even more unhelpful to Joe Garner's case, you know, the transformation from Andre Gray. But Joe Garner's still got a lot to prove. But do you buy into the manager, you know, settling in? You don't get a chance to settle in sometimes at big clubs before somebody really passes judgment on you.
Yeah, it's a hard one. I know Joe well. I played him at Scunthorpe, I played him at Carlisle, and what you see is what you get with Joe. He's a hard worker, a grafter, and he can finish. He can actually finish. He's getting a lot of criticism just now, but he's big enough and he's strong enough, I think, to take it. And I think there's a lot more to come from Joe Garner. He is getting a lot of stick, but he must have known that before he came up to Rangers. It's a massive club and you need to hit the ground running.
Is he good enough to turn it around in your mind?
I think he is, yeah. I think he is. He has been given chances. But I think that the Rangers fans need to realise the player they've got there. They have got a natural finisher. He just needs to, it's one of those things, sometimes it doesn't happen for you straight away at a club. But if the manager sticks by him, I think he should do well.
Yeah, I always get the feeling, Ruffy, sometimes it just takes a big goal in a big game and then everybody forgets about it.
Well, that's what football's like. It could be tonight, you know, if he picks him. Yeah. This is the kind of game, you know, that obviously players and managers like to say, well, I told you so, you know, but he's got to do it. And the next thing is, he's got to be on the park. You know, there's no guarantee he's going to be in the 11th, so we'll just have to wait and see the team lines and that as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Gut feeling on this one, Ruffy?
I think Hearts, home advantage, wonderful atmosphere, the Robbie Nielsen thing, 2-1 Hearts.
I'll go 1-0 Hearts. I think on the night they'll have too much for Rangers. I think Rangers have scraped a few good results recently, but can they do it over the 90 minutes? Can they really dominate? Hearts at Tynecastle, which is a very difficult venue to go to, I think Hearts 1-0.
Yeah, okay. We are going to talk Scottish Cup coming up as well. We'll be getting the thoughts of our Bootroom guest Lee Miller on the Scottish Cup, some of the big results from last night, as well as looking at a story doing the rounds on Moussa Dembele. Could Liverpool be about to test Celtic's resolve in the January transfer window? They're talking 20 million already as a potential offer on that. Is that one that Celtic could refuse? We'll get your thoughts on that. Ruffy and myself and Lee Miller coming back after this quick break. Join us if you can. Welcome back to Peter and Ruffy's Football Show. Lee Miller of Falkirk is our Bootroom guest. We'll be talking Bairns shortly. I mentioned just before the break, Ruffy, Liverpool now the latest to be linked with Moussa Dembele. The strange thing is, 20 million is a drop in the ocean now in that division. They can throw that sort of money about.
Yes, they can. And the big question is, can Celtic turn it down? I think 20 million is too much. I think if it was on the table, I think he would go. I think the player would want to go. I think obviously the club would see it as a massive taking money, and unfortunately for the Celtic fans, I think he would leave.
Yeah, he mentioned himself, Lee, that he's still young, 20 years of age, wants another wee crack at the Champions League with Celtic. Certainly made an impression in the Champions League. I think that's where maybe some of the clubs down south have started to really take notice.
Yeah, definitely. He's hit the ground running with Celtic, and you see the relationship with him and the fans with Celtic. They've really took to him, but he loves it. He loves it. Him and Sinclair, they love it here. But I think 20 million, Liverpool's such a big club as well. The English Premiership. Can you stop him? Would you grudge him going there? Don't think you would.
Yeah, you've got to actually put yourself in his shoes, and you wouldn't really be up against it, Ruffy, if he was actually on the computer now looking at 4-bedroom, 5-bedroom in Southport, would you? can't fault him for that. I know you would. You'd have your case packed right now if it was 20 million.
Yeah, it's a lot of money, but I think the thing for him is you just touched on there. It's getting back into the big time, which is the Premiership. I know he'll have enjoyed European football, Champions League, but he can get that with Liverpool as well.
Yep, absolutely. Let's look at some of the results from last night, because we're talking about Celtic Albion Rovers. Darren Young, congratulations to the Rovers players, that big win against Queen of the South. Just look at the results from last night, screaming out. The Albion Rovers boys posted the celebrations on Twitter. They know exactly what it means financially. Ayr United with a good win up at Brecon. East Fife and Edinburgh City have to do it all again. Queen's Park, Gus McPherson, and no problems whatsoever for Jack Ross and St Mirren against Spartans. But just on the basis of a draw in the Scottish Cup against Celtic, suddenly that could set Albion Rovers up for what, 2-3 years?
Fantastic. It's a great story for Darren Young. We played them at the start of the season, and they were very organised, very stuffy team to break down. And credit to them, because Queen of the South are a very good side. We've played them as well this season. And it's a big scalp they've took there, a very big scalp. Yeah,
and the one good thing I would say in a really positive sense about football, sometimes we can be purist, Ruffy, and wanting everybody to play the Barcelona way and get the ball down on the deck. Albion Rovers play some really good football. You can actually see the Billy Stark influence helping Darren along the way as well.
Yeah, and they've got a lot of young players there as well. They're always going to learn from the both of them, and year on year they're improving. I think if you want to be greedy about this whole tie, I think they probably wanted Celtic to have the home 50,000 or 40,000 at it. That would keep them going a wee bit longer. Well, let's not forget, they went to Ibrox a couple of years ago, and I think it was the last minute or something like that, they lost a goal. So if Celtic are calling, they're you know, that they'll pop a good show.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's have a look at that overall draw and how it has changed after the results from last night as well. Here it is. Aberdeen still to find out if it's Stranraer or East Kilbride. Albion Rovers against Celtic, Alloa Dunfermline. Beath Juniors or Morton will take on Falkirk. We'll get Lee's thoughts on that in a moment. Bonnyrigg or Dumbarton against Hibs. That could be a cracker. Ayr United, Queen's Park, Dundee St Mirren, Elgin City, Inverness. So there's that first section. Here's the second section, which includes some of the results from last night. And Killie Hamilton, Livingston, East Fife or Edinburgh, and Partick Thistle, Formerton or Annan, Raith Rovers Hearts, Rangers Motherwell, Ross County Dundee United, still waiting on Forest Mechanics Dennismuir to take on St Johnstone, and Stirling Wick against Clyde or Arbroath. You guys, Scottish Cup. I mean, suddenly after all the heroics of getting to the final, I think Bairns fans are wondering, can that miracle happen again somewhere along the line?
Yeah, we'd love it to happen. I was a fan on that day. They did get to the cup final, and it was a tremendous occasion. We should have probably beat Inverness in the final, I think. But no, it'd be great for the fans and the supporters, and for us as a club to get there. But obviously, there's a long way to go. We've played Morton. Obviously, they haven't played their game yet, but if Morton do come through, we've played them a couple of times this season, and a very difficult opponent.
Yeah, and again, I watched Morton defeat St Mirren, play some really nice football. I don't think too many people would be angry at you suggesting you're going to play them. You've got St Mirren at the weekend. I rate your manager very highly in Peter Houston, and no disrespect to Falkirk, I'm amazed some people haven't been having a look at Peter Houston for some of the top jobs.
Yeah, he's a fantastic manager. He knows his players, he trusts his players, and he's got all the backing from the players, which is great. Very well man-managed. He man-manages the players very well. He knows the experience he's got and the youth that he's got in the changing room. He lets us get on with it. Very good coach, as well as James McDonough is very good. And it's a good club to be at just now. The youth coming through, and the fans are fantastic there as well.
Yeah, how many years have you got in the old legs?
Got a good few years left in me. I feel really fit in this season. Fittest I've been in a long time. Getting a few games under my belt and scoring some goals, which is important for us.
Yeah, you got 10 last season. Have you set yourself a target? Don't want to put any pressure on you. Are you on 6 this season?
I'm on 6 just now, I think, actually.
Yeah.
So no, I don't set myself targets. As many games as I can play and contribute to the team. I've always done that. I've never set myself, right, I'll go and score 20 goals this season. I've never done it. Maybe I should start doing it and score more goals. Maybe I should. So I'll score 20 this season. There you go.
Ruffy, there's my double.
I tried it.
Ruffy, there's my double.
I tried it. I'm going to have 20 shotties this year. I went 3 games and then just chucked it.
It's funny, a lot of strikers do it. A lot of strikers set themselves targets. I personally don't. As many games as I can play and contribute to the team, and obviously strikers are judged on their goals, and if I can score as many goals as possible, it'd be great for the team, and I'm sure we'll be up there challenging.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think you're set for the playoff. I don't know if I'm maybe overestimating the quality of the side, but I think you're set.
Well, that's what we're setting out to do. We've done that last season. We set out for the playoffs, and we're very close. We're up the top. Beat Hibs to the second position, which nobody thought we'd do that. Split the top 2 in the league, but it's a very tight league this season. Hibs have got the resources and the players and the funds and facilities and things like that. But we've played them twice now. Beat us once. We drew with 10 men at Easter Road, so we've got enough in our squad to compete with the Dundee Uniteds, the Hibs. Your Queen of the South are up there. Your Raith Rovers are fighting. There's a lot of good sides, and even we've played Ayr United a couple of times this season. Ian McCall's got them set up very well organised and a hard team to break down, and they play football as well. It's not just it's interesting. I speak to a lot of people and they say, "Oh, what's the standard like in the Championship?" It's actually very good. There's a lot of teams come and try and play football. It's not just route one, launch the ball. Yes, that is an option if there's nothing else on. Of course it is. It's an option for everybody. I watch Premier League games and they're launching the ball non-stop. But it is a good quality league, and it's going to be a tough one this season to call.
I'm glad you said that, because obviously I go and see a lot of the Championship as well, and it's just lazy. I'm not even talking about journalists, just lazy in general. People making assessments of the league, and they don't go and watch it regularly. A lot of really good football, a lot of good players in there. Again, but it's all about levels. We know where we are in Scottish football. Just one thing to mention on a difficult note, Ruffy. I noticed the PFA Chief Executive, Fraser Wisher, has come out and said it would be naive not to think that there's some high-profile cases that could come up here with the sex child abuse that emerged in England. It's gathering pace up here now. 3 clubs apparently being investigated. They haven't been named yet. I think there's a lot more to come in this, sadly.
Yeah, there probably will be, because obviously way back when these things were happening, there was nothing put in place to stop it happening. Obviously we have disclosure and everything nowadays. That wasn't there 20 years ago, so you would like to think, unfortunately, there are cases out there, and if it has affected anybody, it's going to be a very, very strong person who's going to have to deal with it.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, we're delighted to speak to Lee. We wish him the very best at Falkirk. Let's hope it's a season to remember as well. I suppose we should put football in perspective and dedicate this show to the Brazilian football side, Chapecoense. Again, looking forward to a huge final in South America, and sadly 71 people have lost their lives. Only 3 of that team survived. That really does put football in perspective. Our thoughts with all the families of that club. Thanks to Lee, thanks to Ruffy, from myself, Peter Martin. Thanks for watching.